Live from the 409, sponsored by MCT Credit Union, it's the 409 Sports Blitz on 12 News.
Howdy, Southeast Texas. Welcome to the 409 Sports Blitz Week 8 edition. My name is Holton Pepper.
Hey, and I'm Nick Canizales. We had a clash of the Titans between Westbrook and number 6 Port Arthur Memorial. So let's take you to our game of the week. All right, Titans came in outscoring their opponents 50-14. Oh, that's the average score of 50-14 on the season. Could they stay undefeated, or will the Bruins have other plans to move up the standings? So look, do you want to talk about making a statement with a sledgehammer? DeAndre Carter taking the opening kickoff, finds a sideline, turn on the afterburners, 97 yards, Holton for the touchdown. Westbrook takes a 7-0 lead.
Westbrook,
yeah, Memorial goes to work on offense. So Monty Martin calls his own number, picks up a nice game. But
that was
all he would get. So Tam Anderson on offense, looking for that curl route. He is picked off by Jamarcus Hudson, picking up some nice gain inside
Defense
the 10.
For Titans are good.
You talked about Martin. What does he do? That's all he does. Makes reservations for 6 every single week.
He sure does,
We're tied at 7. Here come the Bruins. Anderson swings it over to Brandon Jackson. Look at him up the sideline. That's a gain of 40 yards. But look, Westbrook actually led 16-7 at the break. They woke up a sleeping giant in the second half. Port Arthur Memorial, they would get it together. They would roll 41-18. So now they improved to 8-0 overall, 4-0 in district play. Look at that final.
Wow.
Let's go out to Cameron Burchett, who joins us live tonight from Memorial Stadium. And Cam, I mean, look, this was a game we just talked about. Westbrook had a 2-score lead, and then you saw the talent take over for Memorial, and that's pretty much all she wrote.
It was insane, you guys, because again, that score 41-18 was again that final. And so I have no idea what happened during halftime. Coach Brian Morgan with the Port Arthur Memorial Titans said that these guys were just excited and thrilled, and they had to actually calm them down during halftime, and they came back like that. I don't know how it works. I never played football. Maybe you guys can explain it to me later. I don't know. But let's go into and talking about this game a little bit. So paint a picture here again. It's halftime. The score is 16-7 and you're undefeated. That was the fate of the Memorial Titans. But again, these guys had quite the comeback with a fire, scored more than 34 points in the second half. The Bruins managed to end their streak of not allowing an opponent to score more than 14 points a game. But on the Titans' end, the Bruins managed to slip past them as well. In previous games, their opponents haven't been able to score more than 16 points. In this case, the Bruins scored 18 points. Now, talking about the second half, number 6 Amante Martin with Port Arthur Memorial made a late touchdown with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and again another back-to-back touchdown there with less than 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter as well. But again, guys, back and forth on the field here. I mean, just both of these teams' offenses and defense respectively, it seemed like everybody just kept hitting a brick wall tonight in the best way possible. You could tell that these guys really wanted this win, and that Port Arthur Memorial definitely wanted to stay undefeated and to keep that streak. And so keeping the streak going, Coach Brian Morgan says next week they're going to hit the road to take on the Lufkin Panthers. It'll be an away game. But again, he says that ahead of that game, he says they're another tough opponent. He says coming into playing Westbrook Bruins, he's really, really good buddies with Coach Chuck Langston over there with the Bruins. He said, we're excited and we've been talking all week basically. There's a rivalry between some of the kids, so it's been going on all week long. So it's been just a big, big build-up between these two teams. But Coach Brian Morgan told me after the game that he is just excited to talk to Coach Langston, of all people to talk to, just to talk to his buddy after a game like this. So if this is such a game where you can put a spread aside like that for the sake of a bromance, if you will, such a good friendship, then that's all in good fun, and that's what it's all about. But again, here the Port Arthur Memorial Titans beat the Westbrook Bruins 41-18, and you guys, it was quite the game, and I can see why it was our 409 Sports Game of the Week. But for now, go ahead and send you guys back to the studio of 409 Sports. I'm Cameron Burchett.
Big time. Appreciate you, Cam. That was a great game. Glad you got to be out there to witness that. This a huge response by Port Arthur. They talked about him being down at halftime. But that is the culture of what Brian Morgan has done at Port Arthur, is instill that team to be able to respond in games like this and in situations. And credit Chuck Langston and his squad for being up at 16 at Port Arthur.
And Westbrook played a good game. Now the Titans have a 2-game lead over Barbers. They play Lufkin next week, who knocked off Baytown Sterling 31-21 tonight. Cam mentioned, what did they say at halftime? Well, coaches, they fire you up. They have some choice words and like, hey, look, we're better than this.
Yeah.
They know they're better than this, and let's go out and prove it. And that's what they did. They took over that second half, didn't look back, and played outstanding defense.
Yeah, and Brian Morgan, I mean, I can only imagine the things that he said in that locker room.
All
right, but let's go ahead and head over to 3A. Both Kirbyville Wildcats and the Orangefield Bobcats have exciting offenses that can really make for a fun Friday night. But Kirbyville, they need to win this one tonight if they want to remain in the playoff race. And because this district is so competitive this year, the reigning champion Orangefield Bobcats need to find a way to walk away with this with a win.
Yeah, and I believe, tonight's game, the X factor had to be the running back Mason Manning going to Lamar. He's been phenomenal. He's a threat to score every single time he touches the football.
And you're going to see him in this highlight, I promise you. And Kirbyville, again, is one of those teams. This district, again, just has a lot of those teams, kind of sticky teams. And for Orangefield, this can be you can call it a trap game if you want to. But Kyron Morrow makes a man miss here, gets the edge, gets the sideline, and
great blocking by the receiver.
Is gone. I was going to mention that too. 14, yeah, great blocking there. But that's not all 14 is able to. You'll see what I'm talking about. 6-0 here. Carson Gonzalez, there he is right there. Hands off to Mason Manning. Gets off of one man, gets off another man, and he is gone again down the sideline. This becomes
I'm going to call it. He's my favorite to win the Willie Ray Smith Award. One of the favorites. He should be a finalist. He should be a finalist this year.
Oh, he will absolutely be a finalist. But here's what I was talking about. TJ Allen, pass it, intercepted. There he is. Rylan Edgerton all the way back, takes it in. Pick 6 for the Orangefield Bobcats. It's 20-0 at this point. And Kirbyville's just trying to do anything. Here's the screen pass. Delmar Gilbert. This ball gets on the ground, and it's scooped up by who else? Caleb Menard down the sideline. He is gone. I've said that so many times in this highlight. They're so electric. They can score at will, and Orangefield gets up 27-0. Let's go ahead and get to the big board. Wow, 50-22. This one shows to still be going, but that's going to be all but wrapped up at this point.
A 50-piece.
50-piece for Orangefield. Big answer for that team. In Kirbyville, you're going to have to probably burn the tape on this one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're going up against a tough team there. Yeah, you're right. Just burn the tape. Yeah. Go back, tomorrow they'll probably be in the film room. They have weights. Make sure, take a look at what went wrong. Right. Let's correct this for next Friday and see if we can pick up a win.
Exactly so. But over in District 8, 5A Division 2, number 3, P&G, won by double digits for the 6th consecutive game after crushing Splendora 48-6.
And look, they're led by an explosive offense. This team has put up over 40 points in 4 of their 6 games. So P&G came in tonight. They were favored to win by 32 points. So on paper, looked to be a short night for the starters against New Caney West Fork. Look, the Indians, they struggled to get anything going on early on. Connor Bailey tries for the slant, bounces off of Dylan Jackson's hands. He's picked off by Jaden Whitelow. So we're scoreless after 1 quarter of play. Gators would return the favor, though. Kylan Pitton rolls around, throws it up. What interception by Gage Hollier right there, the acrobatic interception for P&G. So look, let's fast forward to the second. Indians lead 3-0. Connor Bailey to Tice Bentkirk.
Oh, nobody's there.
The seam route.
Nobody's
Look at
there.
that, weaving in and out of traffic.
Oh, my
51
goodness.
yards for the touchdown. P&G goes up. Actually, look, they go for 2. They get it. It's 11-zip. Indians defense start to kind of put the clamps on West Fork. The strip sack on Patton there. That's bad news for the Gators because Tyson Henry's going to go to work.
Yeah.
He had over, 300 yards a couple weeks ago.
He's so
Follow
good.
your blockers, big man.
Good.
10 yards out for the touchdown, 25-zip at half. Indians go on to roll tonight 39-7. So they improved to 7-0 overall, but more importantly, 4-0 in district play, Mid-County Madness next week.
Yep.
Let's go out to our guy, Brett Strahan, who joins us from the reservation. Brett, look, we were there. P&G started out extremely slow in the first quarter, but, man, they got things going in the second quarter, never looked back.
Yeah, guys, we had an interesting little matchup out here tonight with the West Fork Gators taking on the P&G Indians. And this West Fork team, don't forget, they have only been around for about 2 seasons now. And while the first was lackluster, this season they've been making just a little bit of noise. 4-2 coming into this one with a couple of district wins. Unfortunately, they just ran into that P&G buzzsaw of a football team tonight. And while this did end in a blowout, kind of like you said, Nick, things were not all sunshine and rainbows for this P&G offense. As you know, this P&G offense, it's very rhythm-based. They like to get Tyson Henry involved early on the ground and then come back over the top with quarterback Connor Bailey and just dissect teams. But these Gators, they swamped Henry at the line of scrimmage for the most part in the first quarter. And as far as the passing game goes, there were a lot of miscues. I counted 5 drops in the first half, and as well as a couple touchdowns. But, yeah, on the bright side of that, this PNG defense, they stepped up big. They won on all 3 levels. They swarmed the football. I don't think the Gators got past midfield except for a couple of times. And most importantly, PNG was forcing turnovers. PNG had 3 turnovers in the first half, a pick 6, an acrobatic interception, like you said, and a forced fumble for a strip sack in their own territory. So they were a big reason why PNG went into halftime with a 25-0 lead. Now in the second half, different story. Offense exploded. And that's one of the great things about having a quarterback like Connor Bailey. He's played in those big games. He's played in state. He's played in the playoffs. He did not get rattled. He came out and executed. Finished with 3 passing touchdowns on this one, en route to a big, big win here. Now, next week, you know that PNG, they're going to want to iron out those kinks because, like you said, they have Nederland. They're taking on Nederland. So that's mid-county madness, and as you know, anything can happen in a rivalry game. So I'm going to toss it back to you guys, and this has been Brett Strahan, 409 Sports, Port Neches Groves.
Thank you, Brett. We appreciate you. We want to tell our NBC viewers to go ahead and flip over to ABC 12 to see the rest of our 409 Sports Blitz.
All right, now it's time for our Band of the Week. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Band of the Week.
Yeah, I knew that was. Welcome back to the 409 Sports Blitz.
They had plenty to cheer about tonight. They had plenty
Absolutely,
to cheer
they
about.
did. Tons.
All right, look, let's go to District 9 4A Division 2. Hampshire-Fannett Longhorns, man. I mean, they were district champions last year, hosting Jasper tonight. who took a beating last week against West Orange Stark, 33-0.
Yeah, and with the Jasper Bulldogs, we'll talk about it, but they have not scored a point in 3 straight weeks of football, and I think they were on a 4-game losing streak headed into this one. Meanwhile, the Longhorns are looking to try and mend the wounds put there by the claws of the Silsby Tigers in that loss. So the first clip you're going to see are Dwayne Long on the screen. He was located by Blake Broussard. Go ahead and get used to me saying that here tonight. Had some good yards after catch, if you know what I mean.
Hey,
it's all good. It's all good. I see my man
That's
Greg
Anahuac.
Neese. That's my man Greg Neese right there. It's all good. Hampshire-Fannett would go on and win this game pretty handily at this point. And Dwayne Long was a big piece why. Broussard was able to really kind of maintain the pocket, was able to locate receivers, and it was a fantastic game for Hampshire-Fannett. We'll go back to the highlights, but yeah, he really was able to extend certain plays, and I think you'll notice with Jasper as well. We've talked about Jasper before with their youth, right? They have a lot of youth with this team. Give them a year or two. They're going to be a really talented team because you see it right
look,
there.
Man, you have experience is the key. You can't buy it. You have to live it. You got to go out there and play. They will be good. It'll be a good test for these youngsters right now. It's tough. It's a tough season, but they're going to be better for it.
They will be. And look, I mean, plays like this right there, exactly. You got things right there to make moves.
Broussard
again. Yeah, look, there's Dwayne Long, way deep in the end zone. Actually, he was short on this play and doesn't end up getting in the end zone. Obviously, HF goes on to score just a few plays later. But guys like Armstrong with the quarterback, here he is right here. Watch him right here. Scans the field, knows he's running out of time, tucks it, runs, and goes and gets a first down. There is going to be a good Jasper team within the next couple of years. They just have to mature. And when talking to Coach Crumedy, I know we sound like a broken record talking about it, but they're going to remember these games. And when they come back stronger next year, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But HF gets their first win in District 9 for a D2, so they now get to 1-1. They're going to have Shepherd. Not Shepherd next week. Cleveland Tarkington.
Yeah, that's a game that they should win.
Yeah.
They should beat Tarkington on paper. They're hands down a whole lot better, but they got to go start rolling here because time is running out.
There's only
a couple weeks left.
Yeah, this district really did start late as far as getting going. But we're going to go ahead and send this one out to our reporter there, Spencer Plato. She's been waiting a long time to get out here. Yeah, you can see they're just keeping the lights on for you out there. Have you had to ask anybody to do that for you?
Ask my brother.
Hey guys, well, it's Friday Night Lights once again here in Southeast Texas, and it was pink out night as well here at the Longhorn Stadium, and it was a slow start on both ends of the field as the Jasper Bulldogs took on the Hampshire-Fannett Longhorns in the second week of district play, and Hampshire-Fannett will take the victory, winning 35-6, and both teams have had a hard start in district, coming in tonight 0-1, and both were searching for their first district win tonight, and the Longhorns made 2 touchdowns in the first half with help from Dwayne Long, and then in the second half the Longhorns scored once again, and in the fourth Jess Folsom will carry it right in, making it 28-0. The Jasper Bulldogs were off to a rocky start this season, coming into this game 1-5 overall, but tonight they were hoping to turn things around after last week's shutout to West Orange Stark, losing 0-33, and tonight they had a slow start in the first half but tried to turn things around in the second half, Jasper making a late comeback in the fourth as Cash Womack takes a deep ball from Armstrong, making it 28-6 and then missing the extra point. But later in the fourth, they would score once again. But that doesn't stop the Longhorns as Blake Broussard runs it in again, making it 35-6. But Jasper decides to make one last comeback with another touchdown. But Hampshire-Fannett will ultimately take the game 35-12. And now with the Longhorns' first district win, they hope to carry that momentum back on the road next week as they go face the Cleveland Tarkington. But for now, here at Longhorn Stadium, Spencer Plato for 12 News 409 Sports Blitz. Back to you guys in the studio.
Great job, Spencer. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, the Hampshire-Fannett Longhorns on a good win here tonight. But we had a cat fight last night. We had action on Thursday Night Lights. The Anahuac Panthers traveled far from the swamps to the farmland of mighty Buna to face the Cougars. Hardin looks to like the team to beat in that district, even though they were on a bye this week. And looking at this one in particular, the winner between these two can really help with the chances with about 2 weeks left in the season to snag one of those final playoff spots. With Buna at 0-2 and Anahuac at 1-2.
Yeah, here's the catch, though. This is a game full of underclassmen. Buna started 8 sophomores and with a couple of freshmen. The Panthers, they played 9 freshmen. And, of course, their inexperience has shown in this season in district play. But, look, this place is so wide open right now. They could string together a couple of different wins, and they'll be good to go.
Yeah, Anahuac, they're a good squad, and I think they need a game like this to really get going. You saw there the run up the middle, kind of a taste of Buna's own medicine, right? You give the ball to Jatwan Dowdy, the 6-0 tutty. And look, he would have had another one here if he didn't let off the gas pedal, and he got ran into there by one of the only seniors for Buna, Colton Stark. Panthers would score 2 plays later, 12-0. If you run the ball enough, you can catch a team off guard. And this little screen right here, Oscar Garza, the senior, follows his blockers.
Look at him
and
run.
He goes all the way, just weaving through traffic into the end zone. The Panthers put a pedal down to get to a 19-0 lead. And give a lot of kudos to Buna, though. This team is full of underclassmen, and they responded that previous drive really well. Brody Moss takes the direct snap and gets the edge. King Charles couldn't get to him on the edge. Darian Williams, though, runs him down. Could have maybe called a horse collar there. Nah, it's fine. It's okay. Buna, though, has life again. Here on 4th down, Moss takes the snap, fakes the give to Tanner Crane, pitches to the Dark Knight, Brody Batman. I kid you not, that is his actual name. That is his actual name, and the Cougars are back in it. But the score, really, at 32-14 there. The second half was Anahuac finding a way to pull away in the end with another touchdown here from Dowdy. The Panthers put down the Cougars 32-14, you see, meaning Greg Neese has won his 100th career game as head coach.
I don't know. They just decided to play football. We talked about being physical. We have a bunch of young kids. We played 9 freshmen, and not because we really want to. We just have to because of our situation. And then there was a challenge to our young kids because they have a lot of good young kids too. Whose young kids are going to play better tonight? And so ours kind of rose to the occasion. And the sideline was excited. I was just so excited. I mean, where has this been? But it was fun, and we needed it tonight. It was a do or die.
Okay, so like with oh, here come the kiddos. Here come the kiddos. Congratulations to Coach Greg Neese, man. 100, the big 100. What a great time to be an Anahuac Panther.
All right, let's go with some other scores real quick, before we go to break. We had a lot of scores around Southeast Texas. Newton, 72 points for the second straight week. They shut out the Coons 72-0.
Yeah, how about the blank right there, right? Liberty, we knew this is not really shocking. LCM back at it again, 52-7. They remain undefeated in district play.
Yeah, East Chambers, big win at home over Cold Spring Oakhurst, 54-6.
And then Legacy, poor Legacy Chester, big win, 6-man football. 70 right there, a big 70 burger, right? So we call them the 70 burger. So good couple games right there. 409 Sports Blitz, we're going to be coming right back. Welcome back to the 409 Sports. Now, look, I'm not going to say tonight's game between Nederland and Montgomery Lake Creek is a must-win for both teams, but a loss would put either one in jeopardy of missing the playoffs with 3 games remaining.
I know, at 1-3, look, one of those teams will have probably about a 35% chance of reaching the postseason. The problem for Nederland is West Fork and Dayton, they've already had the tiebreaker against them. So, look, both teams right now, they're sliding. Nederland has lost 3 of 4. Lake Creek has lost 2 of 3. Dogs came in 11-point favorite. Lake Creek opens that play, but look at that. Downfield to Gonzalez, snags it inside the 5-yard line. Next play, Lions keep it with Zach Colwell. He is in the end zone. Look at him. Fakes the fullback. Boom!
Oh, big hit.
That's a dump truck right there. Massive hit. Yeah, he's out. That's like Mike Allstott back in the day. All right, Nederland's turn now. Slade Shepard rolls out, throws to Tate Stoker. Comes down with that ball. That's a really, really nice catch right there. Then here comes Nederland
like
again.
Taysom Hill.
Oh, I like that. He's built like Taysom Hill.
He is built.
That's a big
and
boy.
He's got the Saints uniform on.
That's a big boy right there. This time, next play, Shepard on the bootleg to Malcolm McCray. Look at that, in traffic. Nice catch right there. Puts him in field goal range as Lance Rash going to kick it, put it through. And so, Nederland gets 3. So third quarter now, Colwell. You'll see for Lake Creek. I like that line. I like their end zone.
The end zone's sick.
And the
Texas
Texas
you got
flag.
the Texas flag. You got
that.
me as a fan.
Hey, look, Colwell back in the pocket, waits, good pressure, unleashes downfield. Look at that speed in front of 2 defenders' butt. Oh, man, that's a great job of the Bulldogs secondary knocking the ball away.
He had him beat.
He did. Third down for the Lions. Colwell looks left, looks right, goes to the pocket. Oh, he kind of bled out there. Great pass.
Incredible
Great catch. That's a first down. Moving the chains there. So capping off this drive is Colwell. Keeps it himself right up the gut.
Oh, nobody
touching him. Let's go to the big board as Lake Creek. They win 39-22. So now Nederland back-to-back losses. Next week they head into Mid-County Madness, which we saw last year. P&G undefeated on a roll. Nederland was kind of sliding. Again, doesn't matter. If you know this history, it doesn't matter if both teams are 0-10, 10-0. Dude, you could throw the records out because we saw Nederland go into P&G and win. So this year it's at Bulldog Stadium.
Well, look at last Saturday. The Texas Longhorns had no business getting in that game and beating up on number 6 Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And look at they haven't scored a touchdown on Texas in 3 of the last 4 Red Rivers. So these rivalry games, you can have a team that's supposed to win, right?
Yeah.
But
that's why
you play the games. That's why you play the games. All right, let's head over to Doggett Family Stadium here in Beaumont to see our first half clips of Beaumont United and Barbers Hill. The United is coming off of a win over Galveston Ball. So right now, BU in that race for the final playoff spot in District 9 alongside several other teams. A win over Barbers Hill, who sits at 1-2, would go a long way.
Yeah, it really will because, look, it's pretty much a logjam in that district. But, you're right, a win would help them out big time. They had to score early, and get some turnovers.
They do, because Barbers Hill can score on you quick. They need this win Barbers Hill needs this win just as badly, though, coming on in losers of 2 straight, searching for their first win since September 26th. A good kick return for the Eagles helped set them up. First play from scrimmage, Brady Barrier ropes it out to Trip Davis. And yeah, nobody there. Down the sideline, into the end zone, just like that. 6-0 Eagles, 2-point was good. So an early 8-0 lead. Eagles on 4th down, though, elect to go for it. A lot of beef up front. Jamal Jones does not get it. Wolfpack led by Miles Andrews in on the stop. And he's not only able to get to the run game, he's also an elite pass rusher, too. Barrier, nowhere to go, and he's sacked. Big time play there by the man. Barrier was not escaping Andrews on this one. Big time stop for the Timberwolves. Offensively, it was hard for the Timberwolves to get going in the first half. So this one came out from deep within the bag. Ray Stacertel to Ashton Henry. He looks downfield to Emmanuel Schaefer-Jones and just underthrew it. It was picked off by Dalen Smith. United outside of the first play were defensively were all over the place. But credit Barbers Hill defense as they were able to really shut this Wolves offense down in the first half. And if you see the big board here, you'll see that they continued to keep Beaumont United out of the end zone entirely. 25-0 your final score there in this one.
Yeah, Barbers Hill keeping pace with Port Arthur Memorial. The Titans have a 2-game lead over Barbers Hill right now. So for Barbers Hill to want to even try to come up the standings, they just got to continue to win. But yeah, BU, they need to bounce back next week.
And now you got the Beaumont Bowl next week.
Yeah,
and Westbrook
that's big.
just took off a loss, so now they're both teams looking for a win. But the West Orange Stark Mustangs are coming off a big-time success over the Jasper Bulldogs, 33-0, and sit tied at the top. 3 teams apiece each sit at 1-0 in District 9 and 4A Division 2, and there's one of those 3 teams, a sneaky Shepherd Pirates team, or maybe they're not so sneaky. Yeah, they haven't recorded a single winning season since the Westbrook Bruins last went to state in 2018, but they're 6-0. And now hosting a Mustangs team, a win here for the Pirates almost really catapults them into a title situation.
Yeah, and look, with the chain gang defense, clamped down on that Shepherd team. Look, and like you mentioned, they're 6-0. They average 41 points per game on offense, but West Orange Stark came in as a 37-point favorite. So we're going to see if Shepherd is actually the real deal or is it fool's gold?
Test.
Can the Mustangs stay atop the district standings? Kelvin Johnson, we always talk about him. Well, guess what? He's been a big playmaker all season long. On the counter, slips one tackle. Is anybody else going to tackle him?
No,
He's
that's
in
Kelvin
for the
Jefferson.
touchdown.
He squats 500 pounds.
Yeah, that man is a stud right there at the touchdown. West Orange Stark takes the lead. And then guess what? If it worked so well the first time, let's go do it again. There he is again. Nobody in his way. That's another touchdown. And then guess what? I mean, this man was like all over the highlights tonight.
As he should be. Jefferson is that guy. Jefferson is that guy.
The beast. Look at that man.
Oh, he's so quick.
Look, whoop, whoop. Barry Sanders spin. That's like, 80s, 90s, early 2000s right there. And then Kewan Dugas. You'll see him right here. Look, kind of bobbles a snap. Johnny Manziel, that's A&M, Alabama.
Yeah, he does look like
running around. Whoop. Got to go the other way.
Get outside, yep.
Hey, the receiver's like, I'm open. I don't care.
Doesn't
matter.
I'm
going to walk into the end zone. Oh, man, look at this score. West Orange Stark, 42-6.
Man.
So they improved to 4-3 overall, but more importantly, 2-0 in district play. So, yeah, West Orange Stark, the real deal.
Well, you know who else is 2-0 in that district? The Silsby Tigers.
Yeah.
And they're going head-to-head.
They got a collision course coming up.
Next week. There's so many good. LCM and Bridge City are playing next week. I mean, there are so many great games. But this one in particular was a good game, too. Rebels and Pirates, 2A football featuring District 12 and 2A District 2. Actually, a highly anticipated one as well coming into this one. Deweyville resides at the top while the Rebels remain in the 3 spot, boasting a 2-0 record. But over the past 20 years, I looked at this last night, these two teams have went head-to-head 15 times, and the Pirates are 10-5 over that stretch.
That's
with the
impressive
last win for Evadale coming in 2018.
Well, and look, on paper, they're pretty much similar. They can score a lot of points, but at the end of the day, who is going to play defense and win that turnover battle? That is the thing. Defense wins championships here. That is the key.
We have seen it time and time again. One team in particular, you talk about Viter. Viter, if you have a defense, you got a team that might be in a position for a playoff spot.
And you know what else helps out? Special teams.
Exactly. Special teams is huge. You'll see it here. Jackson Stone taking the kickoff for a long return. Makes one man miss, tries to get the sideline, jukes another man, breaks another tackle, gets through a pile of guys right there, and all of a sudden finally gets brought down there at about midfield. Okay, so look. If he does all the work to get you there, why don't you let him finish the job? Cayman Collins hands off to Jackson Stone again, and I mean nobody's there into the end zone. Touchdown 6-0. Later in the first quarter, Evadale quarterback Brett Buckner throws to Grant Stone.
Nice.
Ball slips out of his hand though, and Leighton Birch gets the interception for Deweyville. Down the sideline, gets knocked out there just a little while. Fast forward to the second quarter, Stone again takes the handoff, runs right, cuts back, gets past the second level, and nobody's going to get there. Off to the races, into the end zone to take the lead, 12-0. And if you're wondering why it's only 12-0, Deweyville went for 2 each time they scored, and they were denied twice. So if that's in case while you were wondering. But near the end of the second quarter, Brett Buckner scrambles outside the pocket, tosses the pass to Carter Carell, who gets into the end zone for the touchdown to the Rebels there with life to make this thing a 12-7 score. But you will see here your final. Look at there. Look at there. 44-36. Evadale comes out on top. They were down 12-0 to start that one out, and they get the big win here. Let's go ahead and get to our hit of the week.
Hit of the week, sponsored by First Security Bank.
All right, hit of the week. Hey, we're going back out to Orangefield because Ryan McAlpin, hello.
Bam! Oh, my goodness.
Puts a massive hit on Coy Wiggins of Kirbyville. Let's see that one more time in that replay.
Yeah, I want to see it slow down. Let me see this.
McAlpin. Hey.
Oh, my goodness.
Friday night heat right there. That's our hit of the week.
Around, man. They fly around so fast. Menard, so many guys on that Orangefield defense, man. My goodness. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the 409 Sports Blitz. Going back to District 9 in 482. The Silsby Tigers got a huge win over the Hampshire-Fannett Longhorns. Talked about it earlier last week, though, as they marched to 1-0 in one of the most exciting districts in Texas.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. Now they face the Longhorn team. Cleveland, Tarkington hit the road to come to Silsby, hoping to get their first win of the season. But Silsby's like, you know what? Look, man, you're on our home turf.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. Jacaleb Johnson under center. We talk about him every single week. That's Cordy Wilson. Bashes his way through. Boom, 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 like a pinball.
Great run.
Keep moving those legs. That is incredible. That's a touchdown right there. That's 7-0. Johnson down the shotgun. Next drive. Rolls out, finds it.
Wide open.
Looks. Oh, gosh. I mean, Jonathan Cartwright. He's in for a touchdown. That's 14-0. How much more can they do?
Oh, but you thought he was wide open?
Yeah. How about this? Johnson. Look at this. Oh, where's the defense at?
Yeah, you thought he was wide
blown
open?
Coverage on Madden 26. Wow, it's 21-0. And then Tarkington, you know, trying to make something happen here for the Longhorns. They go back to pass, but he gets mauled by like 400 Tigers at strip sack. Back, the Tigers are going back on offense. They couldn't even get a drink of water. They get back up there, and guess what? Handoff right up the gut, makes one move. That's the tackle miss. Boom, knocks somebody over down to the 3-yard line.
That's a sophomore. They're bringing it. This is the second quarter. We got sophomores in the game.
This is, look, 42-0 at this point. It's not even halftime yet. Carter Howard, you know, you're going to see him in just a bit. Yeah, he's going to get in there. Let's just go ahead and go to the scoreboard. This one got out of hand. 63-6. Your final, you mentioned West Orange Stark, Silsby. Man, that's going to be a banger of a game. Wow.
I cannot wait. And truth be told, could be a game that determines your district champion.
That is
could
correct.
go a long way in doing that. So let's get to our play of the week.
Play of the week.
Cole Jackson Stone.
Steve Austin.
Look at that, man. I mean, that's over what, I forgot how many yards that photographer's saying. But that guy, massive kickoff return to start the game, and then has a touchdown, a couple of touchdowns. Deweyville falls in a really, really good game. But Jackson Stone, you are our play of the week. Great job, young man. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back to the 409 Sports Blitz.
All right, let's go ahead and look ahead to next week's games on the 409 Sports Blitz. Game of the week,
You know what it
obviously,
is.
Mid-County Madness, P&G, undefeated, number 3 in the state, taking on the Nederland Bulldogs. That is going to be an instant classic. The Beaumont Bowl
Yes,
is going
sir.
to be an instant classic.
Yes,
Beaumont
sir.
United at Westbrook.
And then you got LCM. We talked about it just a second ago. LCM taking on Bridge City. Again, 2 undefeated teams in district going head to
like
head.
rivalry
and
week.
Silsby, West Orange, Stark, man. Bang, 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 bang. Hardin, Jefferson, Lumberton, HJ need to win. And Lumberton,
They need
after they
to,
played
yeah.
with Viter. And then East Chambers and Kirbyville, man. Kirbyville needs to win that one to keep rocking. East Chambers obviously in a good chance.
You know, Deweyville trying to bounce back at West Hardin, and then you got Hardin undefeated taking on Anahuac. That's going to be, that's going to be a good game. But boy, it's rivalry week next week. It's going to be some phenomenal games.
It's going to be fantastic. That's all she wrote for tonight for the Blitz. You can watch the highlights from tonight and across the state of Texas on Texas Football Now on 12 News Plus. You can download on your TV and watch for free.
All right, we're going to wrap things up with another performance from our Band of the Week, the Port Arthur Memorial Titans. Have a great weekend.